Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Yeah. During drive-by with Michelle earlier, there at the end, we got a frog in the throat. Yeah, it is. Listen, y'all, it is challenging to get up here and speak for a whole hour. Absolutely, okay. But the lesson we learned was to make sure we have us some water. Sitting here, because boy, that was something else. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate y'all understanding that if I'm going to take a swig of water here and there. So we learned that lesson. Let's let those notifications go on out. Yes, I have this. Oh, man, when God revealed this to me. And I'm going to share this with you all because remember, yes, that case study, the things that occurred or what have you, how I knew that her story had so many holes in it based on the forensic training and based on the location of some of the minor injuries, okay? And listen, y'all, the Godhead is on the job, all right? Yeah. And so as I am letting God reveal these things, I want to bring this to you all because the enemy, we know the enemy target oxygen. So this is going to be a branch off from that episode because it all ties in together. Absolutely. As to why the enemy target the autonomic nervous system. Okay. Not only because it's automatic. I'm going to explain this in its simplicity for you all. All right. But hello, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Michelle Dickey and Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Welcome back, Chris. Yes, I want to go ahead and cover this real quick for you all, fellow warrior. That thank you for jumping in on Drive By with Michelle, and that is a little bit different because I'm actually not. I'm hosting it, but I'm not the one. Like here on this live, I'm the one over here in the studio. I'm the producer. I'm the engineer. I'm the every like for our Let's Just Chat show. For Drive By with Michelle, that's on another network. So that's their engineering team that gives me my prompt of when we're going to break. Okay, so when I get over to the comment, it's a little bit of a different format. I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring anybody or anything like that. If I don't get to some of your comments, that would be why, because I have to go back over to the chat to catch the engineers 1 minute, 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I have to catch that stuff. And this is different, right? Obviously. So I appreciate y'all understanding, but I wanted to go ahead and clarify that because when we go live with Drive By with Michelle on the BBTV network, that Bold Brave TV, that it's just a different, it's a different setup. That's it, bottom line. All right, and we're gonna oh yeah, they do. Yes, they do have some good stuff on there, Chris. They absolutely do. It is a good network. They have some interesting things. Yeah, and great, and they've got a lot of great people. All right, fellow chosen ones as well. All right, yeah. Okay, so that's the other thing. It's great to be part of their network, for however long God has us doing it. It is what it is. And I'm going to dive into this because I'm going to give you the breakdown, okay, of how God revealed some of it to me because it'll help it make better sense for you all. Okay. All right. The autonomic nervous system, okay, it branches out from the central nervous system, right? Okay, but it's part of our body whole, okay, as our nervous system. Think about something, what narcissistic abuse does, right? Okay, it gets people living in fear, right? And so it gets people all uptight and tense, nervous, right? Okay, because all of that abuse, okay, it is external, right? Remember, it's not coming from the Godhead within. We know this now. So for those who are still at that beginning, the season, trying to just keep going. Okay, keep going. But once we realize that the Godhead is on the inside and that all that abuse is not coming from within us at all, right? It's being dished out externally, right? Because the enemy is about all things external, because the Godhead is internal. So the enemy, by default, and not only that, never forget, the enemy lived in the Old Testament, whereas the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, and God were thought to be external. When Jesus came, that changed everything. God flipped the script on the enemy. God is strategic. This is why we learn how to take what the enemy dishes out and flip it for God's glory. In other words, we turn our pain into purpose. Okay, there you go. That's how God does it. So when the enemy dishes stuff out, so like I said, when that case study spiked my dream, God kept my subconscious awake. I want y'all to understand that, the importance, why the enemy attacks. He does not want our subconscious mind to be awake and aware. And again, that's too bad, because God is in full control. And so when she did that, like, I don't focus on the negative, because all of this is a blessing in disguise. And I'll tell you why. I'm getting to know me on a very intimate level, my own body. I'm getting to know how my systems work. I'm getting to know what is it that the enemy really targeted, okay? Because there's a few things, right, that we're going to go over. Because the enemy targets that autonomic nervous system, right? It targets that oxygen. And so this is part of it. Because what exactly? The cardiovascular system. Right? To breathe in that oxygen. Exhale that carbon dioxide, right? That's basic biology 101. We all have to learn that stuff. So it's like, okay. And so the other thing, for those who may not know this, okay, all kinds of, yes, that's the thing. I'm getting to that, fellow warrior. Yes, all kinds of digestive issues and things like that from the narcissistic abuse as well. That's right. But there's also another underlying cause to all of that called radio frequency. Okay, see, all this ties in together here. So we've got a double whammy going on. Okay, you've got radio frequency. Yep. Being overexposed to it, right? And then in some cases, and then you have the narcissistic abuse at the same time. So you're getting, yes, you see what's happening? Okay. So it's all to target that autonomic nervous system the most, okay? Because the central nervous system is your hub, right? That's just the home. That's the hub, okay? Well, the enemy can't get to it, okay? Because he has to, in order to get to it, you have to destroy the autonomic system. But that's way challenging to do for the simple fact that the autonomic system has your sympathetic system and your parasympathetic system. Now, it is thought to have it's thought to have another one. Let me see. Did I write that down? But that third one is thought. It starts with an E and enteric, I think. Yeah, it says sometimes it's considered part of the autonomic system, but it's believed to act more independently. So we're leaving that out of it because the very basics for you all, okay? We're all about simplifying the complex, okay? Because of the simple fact that, okay, you have your sympathetic system, okay? It produces, it promotes localized adjustment automatically, okay? Automatically. In other words, we don't even have to think about it. Now, I learned that in my trauma training as well. Not just biology and other research, but we talked about that in the trauma training as well because it's true. And so, it makes those adjustments automatically. Okay, it knows what to do. You see what I'm saying? It knows what to do in response to. For example, when our body temperature rises, or temperature rises, we start to sweat, right? Okay, that is a localized adjustment based on your body autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic one in particular, being activated to help regulate your body's temperature, right? The sweat supposed to cool the body down, all right? And so it also, okay, promote reflex adjustment of the cardiovascular system. Remember what I just said about the enemy targeting oxygen. So I'm going to give y'all a little sneak peek of what I share on the Patreon channel, patreon.com/narcissism and cognitive dissonance, about that case study. Okay? And this is going to be, just bear with me. Okay? And I'm not being, not spiritual wickedness in high places, but this is just part of how the enemy targeted. And this is why I know what I know, as from the forensically speaking, right? Because I remember that paper bag when I woke up in the hospital that morning. I remember what it was in there. And I remember they had to cut off my bra. Okay, why? That was my first thought. Well, after all is said and done, right? And I was in one of the hotel rooms. This is where God revealed this to me. Okay? All right. That we know ourselves, right? Okay, we know ourselves as far as certain things. For example, yesterday, the choker that I wore, okay, it's like a dog collar, and it has the holes in it, right? So I know how many holes and how it sits and where on my neck, okay? And when I put it in the normal hole that I usually wear it at, and it would be loose enough to where, yeah, it's not right, because it's kind of got a material on the inside of it that kind of makes it warm. Okay, so and it is warm here in Florida. Okay, so I don't want that up against the skin, producing sweat, right? So I would keep it loose enough to where it would just kind of lay. Well, the hole that I normally put it in, it was a little bit tighter than usual. So God revealed that yesterday when God revealed this, what we're talking about right now, to me, because of that particular incident. And I was like, oh, okay, because just so you all know, for those who may not know this, that when our bodies undergo any kind of impact, okay, you know how internal inflammation takes place. All right, well, those inflamed areas become pockets for mucus. Okay, mucus is where the bad parasites, they like warm, mucusy places. Okay, we know, that's why a lot of us, we quit eating sushi. If y'all are still eating it, more to you, but I'm done. Because I learned that the bad parasites, they breed on in those warm, mucusy places, and they like sugar, and they like raw, the sushi. Okay? So like, not gonna help that out. Okay. But we also know that radio frequency produces a lot of those similar symptoms, right? Okay, so I talk more about that on the Patreon channel as well, but I'm gonna share with y'all something, okay? The sympathetic system, right? Your reflex adjustment. Okay, here we go. All right, we know ourselves. And so the bra that I had on during that time, all right, it was not a stretched one. It wasn't one that stretched easily. And I know which, the 3 metal clasps, right, in the back. I usually always kept it on the first one. I'm going to get to the chat here in a minute. I always kept it on the first one, okay, because that's where it was most comfortable, right? What she did after that I think that's what it is. Yeah, okay, anyhow, when that kicked in, okay, my subconscious, remember, God kept my subconscious awake and aware, all right, so that I would put this together. Because I was trying to figure out why, when I put one of my other bras on that had the metal clasp, I put it on there and it stung for a second right there in that spot. And I went, aha! Now we know what she did. She tightened it all the way to the last one, as tight as she could get it. So that as being dragged down those steps, right? Each time I hit a step, what would I get? That's right, another impact, another impact, another impact. So that right there, okay, right. It's not permanent, y'all. I'm here to tell you that. this is all temporary, okay? But it was God revealing to me, excuse me, because every time I do that, more mucus comes out. I'm just being real with y'all, all right? And so that's what she was doing, was targeting that cardiovascular system, sympathetic nervous system, in an attempt to prevent me from doing exactly what I'm doing now. As you see, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. So, there you go. That's that connection. Now, the parasympathetic system, it promotes digestion. That's what I'm getting to, Chris. When you mentioned that about digestion, that's why I said hang tight, because we'll get to that. All right, because the parasympathetic system, it's the other part inside the autonomic nervous system, all right, that promotes digestion and synthesis of glycogen. Okay. It also allows for, get this, normal function and behavior. Normal behavior. So you see with these narcissistic abusers, okay, think about this. Everybody is subjected to that narcissistic abuse, right, by the enemy. Nobody is exempt. No, none of us are exempt. Okay, everybody is subjected to it. Okay, it's that abuse, the very abuse that God tells us about in Scripture that's taking place. So basically, the enemy does things to humanity that will inhibit God's normal biological functions, right? Okay. Because when traumatized, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system do not operate as they're supposed to. And the trauma prevents some automatic function due to the responses of fight, flight, or freeze. So when that happens, it causes that person to hang on to their trauma because they're still walking in their feelings, right? Because if this had happened to her, well, actually, we know that what she did to me was done to her, but her drink was not spiked. That's the difference. And she never let go of that. No, I don't feel sorry for her at all, okay? Because the simple fact that what happened to them, when things like that happen to them, they're walking in their feeling, so they are going to, remember, what a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So they're going to continuously tell themselves that they are this or they are that, right? And so they're going to let they're going to let any kind of discomfort, if you will, they're going to convince themselves that they are in extreme pain. Okay, so they continue to tell themselves that, right? Okay, they tell themselves that over and over again. What I tell myself is, I'm in recovery. I'm good. I'm like, Jesus on the job. And God is revealing to me these things so that I understand better what went down and why this is doing that. And it's helping me get to know my body. That's why I'm saying turning negatives into positive, I said, it's a blessing in disguise. Because of the simple fact that I get to learn on a more intimate level how my systems work for me. See, we're all going to have the same types of basic, but how does it work for each and every one of us? Okay, it could be a little bit different. We're all unique, right? So I get to learn more about me. I get to learn more about how God made me. And I consider that a blessing. 100%. I do. And I'm thankful for that. So, it's like, I'm not thankful that happened, like that. I'm thankful for the lesson. Okay. I'm thankful for the opportunity now to be able to go, and I can bring this to you all. Okay. There's a little basic scientific fact part of consulting for heightened awareness. It's time to bring it. And I told y'all, and for those of you who caught it in the drive-by with Michelle earlier, we are all about the trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more. So we're going to bring all to you, okay, that God revealed so that you all can get a better understanding of why these narcissistic abusers do what they do and why the enemy targets what he targets. He's targeting that oxygen. So in order to try to interfere and affect that it got to attack the autonomic nervous system. Okay, remember the autonomic nervous system is the external of the central. He wants to get to the central, right? Because he wants to sit on the throne like the Most High, right? There you go. He wants that. There's your spiritual connection. He wants that, but in order to get to that, he had to go through what? The autonomic system. But before he can even do that, he got to get through, he got to do that sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Okay, so he got to try to cripple those. Right, make it a little easier for him to get past that, but it don't work. He never makes it past that. Not on God's chosen one. He don't make it past that. Absolutely not. Because once we are awakened and aware, and that subconscious mind is awake, it is awake. You ain't going back to sleep. Right? No matter how hard the enemy tries. He's going to try to put us back to sleep, you all. But it's not going to work. Okay? We know though, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. So I want to go ahead and let y'all digest that while we cover some of the comments over here. Hi, Catherine. Hi, everyone. Yes. Okay. So, all right. Well, like Chris said, the tummy and gastro issues that can happen with narc abuse, right? And then definitely lead to tension, right? That's the other thing. Want to attack our autonomic nervous system that acts automatically, right, for stepping in, and we don't even have to do anything. This is why we learn to trust God, okay? Trust that Godhead, because he's the one that designed us. He's the one that designed our nervous system. I'm going to share with y'all real quick. Excuse me, let me take a swig of water. We don't want another frog like we had earlier. There you go. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That mucus production, that's stemming from because it's coming out, right? So that's the thing, right? It's got to come out in order for those things to continue. You know, the nerves have to reconnect. So, like back here, I felt it too. I'll share that with y'all. I felt it. It's like for 3 days, it was like I felt the pulling, but I knew what was happening. I said the nerves were readjusting. So I didn't even have, it's like I knew what was going on. Okay, so all of that digestive issue, definitely because of the stress. Okay, the narcissistic abusers, the stress, the walking on eggshell, all of that, the not knowing what version of that person you want to get the next time they walk through that door. Of course. All right, after taking up. Okay, taking up martial arts to deal with narcs who graduate from emotional to threaten physical abuse. Do we trust this to God or take up a self-defense class? Now, okay, listen, as far as taking a self-defense class, many of us have. And it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to do at all. It's just additional knowledge to have. Now, whether you ever have to use it or not, we pray you don't. Okay, we pray that you don't. But being divinely protected by God, and as long as we are not walking around expecting the worst, we should never have to use it. That's just bottom line. But many of us can attest to that. That we learn, this is all part of it in the spiritual awakening, okay, and God's reality, because the targeting of that autonomic nervous system, right, to get people to live in fear, right? And so living in fear leads to always walking around expecting the worst, and so there you'll find it. So it's all about that mindset as well, because if you're living in fear, then that just means that you're gonna attract it. So you always want to be mindful of what you're thinking. Like, okay, if you want to go and take that, go ahead. If it's on your heart and it's part of your desire to go and take that, to learn something new or what have you, then go for it. You know, I mean, if that's God guiding your steps to go learn something new and take that for whatever reason, sure, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, Chris, now as far as reporting that to the police, I was unable to do so because she didn't leave any physical evidence. So you understand that, right? The only thing I have is spiritual evidence. And we know that the Matrix is not going to accept spiritual evidence. That's the bottom line. Right? They're not. Because right. Remember, they were carpeted steps. I had 0 carpet burns. That's right. And so that would be the only thing, but that's it. I'm like, oh, okay, I supposedly fell, but my minor injuries in the locations that they were in, that did not add up. See, forensically speaking. And so what I did is I had to just listen, the staff knew I was asking them very specific forensic medicine questions. They knew what I was doing. But because we didn't have any physical evidence. You see, that's what it comes down to when we're battling against these narcissistic abusers, all right? When we're battling against their spiritual wickedness in high places, because the world needs to see physical proof because they can't spiritually discern. If the video is buffering on your side, then that would be your internet. Because, okay, just give it a second. Just give it a second. It'll come back. It'll come back. Yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. But yeah, remember this narcissistic world out here, they are always going to want physical evidence. And because I did not have any physical evidence, all I had was what God revealed to me as He kept my subconscious awake and then reminded me, okay, so all I had was to be able to match, okay, because while I was doing that, okay, yeah, I had my phone, but I didn't quite think to get pictures of the bruise on the right ankle that matched the first 3 on the left hand being dragged. Okay, I didn't think to get that picture. I should have, but I didn't think to. I was more busy on patching the holes in the story that she told. Wow, dear. Oh, and by the way, she dished out verbal abuse. And oh yeah, false accusation, guilt tripping, especially trying to guilt trip me about being a chosen one. All right, yep. And the tone, and then I had picked up on it, yep, the day before. I had picked up on her giving me the sideways, almost like evil eye. I had picked, oh yeah, y'all, I was taking notes. Oh yeah, and I'm going to bring more of that to you all. I've got a brief synopsis on the Patreon channel, and I've given you all a little bit here, but that's that. And so I'm going to be sharing all the behaviors that I picked up on for your education and awareness as well. So hang tight, all right, because that was a different flavor of a Jezebel. And again, she don't even know it. She does not even know that she's the Jezebel. All right, and this is what they're doing. Real quick, you all, I'm picking up on a pattern here. Is that, yeah, some of the female who are coming to Consulting for Heightened Awareness, not all y'all, but there's been a couple, okay? And that case study was one of them. And so they come to Consulting for Heightened Awareness, right? And they're pretending that they truly want to heal from trauma. Okay. And then I find out, yeah, they get turned into a case study, and I find that out about them, that they're actually the jezzy, okay? It's a different flavor. And so I was like, okay, so I see what they're doing. But they're coming to Consulting for Heightened Awareness with mommy issues. That's what they're using. That seems to be a pattern, okay? So we're learning to watch out for that. I'm like, okay. And we're not turning a blind eye either, because when we're recognizing, it becomes very familiar how certain Jezebel operate, okay? It does. It gets, I'm not going to say familiar spirit, you know, as in the demon spirits. No. It's just we can see these things. We can pick up on them. And so it's like we've got this other one who is approaching Consulting for Heightened Awareness quite similar to how that case study approached Consulting for Heightened Awareness. You see? So I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, we're not ignoring it. Okay? But we're doing what God needs us to do, right? Wise as a serpent while being harmless as a dove. In other words, act the fool to let the fool think they're fooling us. That's it. Okay, and we don't, that's right, we don't mix personal and business. Think about that. All right, you all. And remember, that all the trauma triggers play on the different nervous systems. Okay, so think about it. Okay, let's just say, for example, I'm gonna bring it here. All right, that your reflex adjustment. Okay, think about breathing. Right. Okay, so let's say you're a speed walker. Okay, because we are. All right, we've been getting out every chance we get. Okay, y'all speed walking. All right, we get to speed walking. All right, and so your heart rate goes up. Right. So your breathing is going to be a little bit increased. Right. That's your reflex adjustment. That is your sympathetic nervous system. Okay. Think about it this way too. When the narcissistic abuser is dishing out that abuse and tricks you into engaging in reactive abuse, what happens? The heart rate goes up, breathing increases. That's the reflex adjustment. Okay, there you go. One is abnormal while the other is normal. And the exercising reflex adjustment is a normal one. That narcissistic abuse, that reflex adjustment of reactive abuse is abnormal. Okay, so now for the parasympathetic system and digestion, we're going to go a bit more into this because of the fact that the world tries to tell us things about ourselves that are not true. So I'm going to share with you all something and I put it on the Patreon channel, but I'll bring it here and give you a little sneak peek that I have been told my whole life that I'm lactose intolerant. I learned since being, yes, away from all of that. And I tested out a theory. I'm not lactose intolerant. It doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and start splurging on ice cream and milk again and stuff like that. No, because of the simple fact that we have graduated. And it's in scripture as well. Doesn't mean I do use the soy milk for protein shakes. Absolutely. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's plant-based. All right. But as far as going out there and for me, okay, splurging on that when I have not had it for many, many years anyway, I'm good. It just means that I can consume foods for their calcium, okay, for the nutrition, that I can, and that I'm not lactose intolerant. Because I had to unlearn that about myself. The world had told me that. And so, yeah, because what I did is I tested my theory. It was just, God put it on my spirit. I was like, hold up a second. I just had some cheese that I should not be able to have if I were. So that got me thinking, like, hold on a second. Okay, because all that narcissistic abuse being dished out. So they were using that to try to tell me I was lactose intolerant based on, as a cover-up to the interference with and disruption of my parasympathetic system with digestion. Think about it. Now you can take that and modify it for however it works for your situation. And yeah, according to the blood type diet, I would be lactose intolerant as well. So that just basically confirmed when the devil is a liar. Because I tested it out for myself. I don't have any problem testing out theory. Okay? I don't. Because of the simple fact that God got this. God's the one that's having me do it. Okay? So there you go. Because of digestive issues. So we have to be mindful of that as to why, when we were in the toxic environment, why we were having so many digestive issues. Well, it's because the enemy is targeting the parasympathetic nervous system that way. So, okay. Oh, okay. Thank y'all. Okay. Well, I could type up a declaration, absolutely. I just wonder I'm just wondering if there's like a time limit, so to speak. I mean, it's only been a couple of months, and so I needed to connect more dots first. So now I can do the declaration. Okay, y'all. Thank you, fellow warriors. I can certainly do that. But because I'm of sound mind, and everything I'm sharing with you all makes absolute 100% sense. It's just that okay. I mean, really. I'm gonna write this down because you're right, y'all. Because the way when that happened, it was very calculated, absolutely. So I'm not the first one she ever did that to. Absolutely not. Thank you for your patience while I write this down. That's right. Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to report it. It's just I know how the system works, but I just didn't think about it as it at least will be on record. Even as far as a restraining order, that's not necessary. Because I do remember the detective that was on my case for the ex-psycho roommate. He was very familiar with the ex-psycho roommate's behaviors. So thank you for bringing that to my remembrance. So I will do that. I'll type that up, and when I've got some time, I have to figure out whether I need to go back to that county and file it there. I'm thinking I may have to, or if I can file it here in this county, I'll find out. So that's a long drive. Not that I mind making the drive, but we have a lot of other things on our plate that we're trying to get done and stuff like that. So if I can file it here, that would be great. Anyhow, just to have it on record, and I would imagine if they need to communicate with the county that it occurred in, they could do so. So I'll work all that out. Thank you, everybody, for giving me that advice. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was not even thinking about that. Yeah. We learned that when the narcissistic abusers calculate out stuff like that, like the ex-psycho roommate, how he was setting up electrocution stations around the house. Okay, that's very strategic. Okay, so, and he did it with, old timey baby monitor, old timey lamps, things like. He knew what he was doing. That was not the first time he'd done something like that. And so with her, same thing, because she had it all planned out. The only thing she didn't have was a little bit of a story. Okay, and it had to do with a little metal safe that's not that heavy at all. Okay, and so she needed something. She needed an object. She needed an actual object, something. Okay, she needed something to go on, and the only thing she had to go on was me getting used to going upstairs again and the metal safe. That's all she had. That's why her story had so many holes in it. Okay, that's a big reason why. And then the second one, like I said, the spots. If I fell, where's the rug burn? Like I said earlier, that's the first question I had. I was like, excuse me, forensically speaking, like, where's the rug burn? Because I was like, those stairs are carpeted. I would have some somewhere on the arm, on the leg, but there were none. So that's why I was like, hold up, yeah. And not only that, while they were stapling me, my subconscious was awake. Oh yeah, Yeah, because when I went back down for a follow-up to have the staples removed, they tried to say the staples weren't there. I went, yeah, they are. That's okay. We'll handle that later. We see how the enemy works, right? See, God kept me awake because God knew that the enemy was going to lie to me about that. That's just to give y'all another example of how God works. Glory be to God. And so that's why I said that that's not ever going to happen again. No, because God just needed to reveal to me the snake pupils that she had. And then also to confirm in the physical thing I was already catching on to anyway. And that's what I want to share with y'all in more detail. So we'll be working on that. We'll bring you all a lot of the red flags that we definitely do not want to ignore. And one of the big ones, okay, is whenever you get there and there's like how it seemed as though a bunch of stuff's happening all at once, right? That's them trying to cause chaos and drama because she did that, okay? And I picked up on it, got there with you, all that, and then all this other stuff going on at the same time. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, okay. Just need a little bit of chaos and drama, a little bit of distraction, right? To try and do what? Confuse me. I'm telling y'all, the enemy's stupid. But yeah, oh, and by the way, you all, yeah, that's right. Getting away from the abuser and not going back. That's bottom line. And that's what the staff knew as well. Come on, y'all. That staff there, I'm not the first case they've seen like that. Okay, they see this stuff all the time. You know, so they know. And I know that a couple of the members of the staff also knew that her story wasn't adding up. And they were the ones that were helping answer my specific question. They knew. Okay, they knew. And so did I. And so I was able to talk to another doctor, and I let him know that. And I let him know, I said, listen, I'm not telling you this stuff just off the top of my head. I let him know. I said, I've got a bachelor in criminal justice. I've got a master in forensic toxicology. That's where I learned how to do that kind of forensic analysis, okay, with those two. And then currently getting my doctorate in forensic psychology. So forensics is my underlying background. So I'm going to forensically analyze what needs to be forensically analyzed. And that needed it. Okay, big time. So I let him know that. I was like, I'm not talking just to be talking. To tell you that her story did not add up. And he was like, okay, I'm listening. And he did. He listened. And I explained to him exactly everything that went down. And so when the jezzy came and told on herself, I'm surprised they're not giving you a bunch of pain meds. Really? You're surprised? Well, first of all, I didn't need them, still don't need them, and I never asked for them. See, that's the thing. Is that they knew. They're the ones that put me through the x-ray. Wasn't unbroken, okay? So they saw what they saw, and they could see from my muscle capacity that I'm a regular exerciser. They could tell that. So they didn't do nothing but give me the that liquid that you need for an x-ray. That's it. But I looked at my paperwork to see, well, they didn't give me nothing else. That's it. That's all that was needed. Because they knew that when I left, because the doctor looked at me, two things. I know, he said, take care of yourself. I said, I will. I know what to do. Got some ice pack. We know what to do holistically, naturally. And so he knew, and I also know what he meant by that as well. He was basically telling me to make sure I get out of there. And I did. As soon as I got back to the house, I started loading up my car, got on the highway. And then a couple of days later, I went back down with the van, got the rest of my stuff, and here we are. So there you go. All right. So I gave you a little bit more on all of that. All right, not for sympathy, y'all, not for sympathy or anything, but just to let you know, okay, that when things that happen, we don't underestimate the power of God, because that's the power of God right there that worked through me, all right, to get me out of there. And the staff knew that I was going to need to get out of there, and the staff knew that I would, because we ain't playing. Because like I share on Patreon, I'm in that bed. Once I realized what happened, and I made that connection, I was on the phone, and I was already booking my room. I was already looking like, God, where are we going? Boop. Okay, there we go. Okay, and so I was already doing that. I was already booking. That's right. And it how God worked it at a storage unit right up over from the hotel, and then the other hotel was right across from this complex where we now live. That's how God worked. God had this already planned out, because he knew that I was going to go down there and get confirmation in the physical and get back out. So God made sure that he had the plan in place. He had the escape plan already done. Glory be to God. Okay, so that's why I want to give you all that on how God works. Actually, no. The drug that most narcissistic abusers use for spiking drink, okay, the drug they use is very fast acting. All right, so it is, yes, GBHGHB. It's one of the two, right off the top of my head. Okay, but it's a common one. And I remember the woman from a crisis center years ago told me this. And then when I took my forensic courses, it confirmed it, because it was in there, that the process of elimination for that stuff is quick. Okay, and they know this. These abusers, the evildoers know them. That's why that is their go-to drug for spiking, because they know that when they do that, and see, I'll share with you all what predators like this do. And listen, law enforcement and them out here, they know this too, that this is how these predators operate. When they use that drink, spike, okay, they use that drug to spike the drink. What they're doing, because she did that, right? I was trying to take an item upstairs, that's safe, okay? I was trying to take it upstairs while I was still, coherent, in here, sober, all right? I was trying to get upstairs. She kept telling me not to. Kept telling me to put it back down. I was like, I already knew something. But why did she keep doing that? She wanted me to keep talking. So basically, when I went to the bathroom or I took whatever right after I got done eating dinner, that's when she did it. Because she needed to keep me talking to gauge about when that stuff was going to kick in. And she needed that safe for her story full of holes. Okay? You see? They're very calculated. But that's what the predators do. Is that after they spike the drink, they want to keep their target talking so that they can tell about when. So she could tell about when it was going to work, go and pretend as if she's going to bed while she gets out the blanket, the sheet, whatever it is she used to drag me down the stairs. Okay? There you go. And then as soon as I went, because it was right after apparently I got done washing my face and I was attempting to put my bedtime clothes on. So there you go. And, it's just a lot of things that, there's a lot more detail to it. There's a lot more that went down that I uncovered. There's a lot more that just did not add up based on what was being told. Yeah, based on what was being said. A lot of things that didn't. So there you go. All right, everybody. I wasn't planning on going in detail about that one, but a blood test would not have, because that particular, it's considered a date rape drug is what it's considered, and it works really fast. And so what they know about it is after you pass out, and then they drag you around like a rag doll, all right? And after they're done doing that, they'll wait about 30 minutes or so. They know by the time that, yeah, by the time the ambulance gets there to pick you up to take you to the hospital, they know that by the time you get to the hospital, that stuff's already gone. It's already eliminated out of your system. It's that fast. Okay, you all. So that's why it's the most sought after date rape drug by these abusers, because of its ability to work that fast and get eliminated out of the system that quick. And that a test, unless there was somebody right there within the first 10 to 15 minutes, you might get something. You see? So there you go. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's why they use it, because it's basically undetectable by the time you get to the emergency room. It's basically undetectable at that point. And so, yeah. Okay, you all. So I just want to get on here and I guess, we've said more to share a little bit more of that with you all. And, it's okay. No, what she did was not okay. I know that. And so I'm going to heed y'all's advice. Thank you. And I'm going to figure out how I'm going to work that. How we're going to type up that declaration. And we are going to make sure that gets on record. And I want to remind everybody that because of my forensic background, if you or someone you know has been victimized by drink spiking and they want to know what happened, I can help them. It's all about pattern. And so based on the story they were told, I will find the holes. I guarantee it. I'll find the hole. Right. And then if they can remember, right, if you or them can remember, specific injuries, where they were located, and if there were any unusual patterns or for the bruise, okay, all right, and then as much as the victim can remember, or survivor, better yet, can remember up to that point. With those three things, we'll get to the bottom of what really happened. That's right, forensically. We will do it. And you can hop on over to CDHRWDRMD.org and check out the forensic consultations that are available. You can do 1 day, a week, a month, depends on how long. Okay? And never forget, you all, everything on the website, all things $50 or more are eligible for shop pay at checkout. Okay? For those who don't, you won't know that unless you get to the checkout page. Right? To make monthly installments as well. Okay, so, and that goes for, session, any consultation, books, products, digital products, or a combination thereof. All right, just so you all know that is available for you. Okay, now if you go over to the Academy, okay, you also have the option for 5 monthly installments when you pay the regular price, obviously. Right now in 2023, this is August of 2023, and our courses at CHAAcademybtbw.com are on sale as part of our 2-year anniversary celebration for consulting for heightened awareness. And that includes the upcoming 2-year anniversary of the Patreon channel. So you have to go one after the other, right? So I just want to remind everybody about that we have going on. And there you go. If you have any questions, you always can reach out. Yeah, don't hesitate. And if you leave it on the replay in the comments, I will get to those as soon as possible. Thank you very much for all of y'all's participation in the chat. Yes, we're going to see more of that because it's about all of us coming together. Okay, and iron sharpening iron. Yep. And again, very good, Catherine. Yeah, boundaries. Can't stress the importance of that enough. And no contact. That's right. Yep. It's basically one of those things, when we got to get away and stay away when we can. There you go. It's all about forward going and not looking back, living in the past. Okay. But we're going to bring in awareness and everything else to you all always. All right, everybody. So there you go. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Michelle Dickey, and Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.